What's up, YouTube? How's it going? So, I want to talk about this whole story that's been popping off about these young college or white female college students having a private conversation on Snapchat and like group chat about their thoughts and sentiments about dating black men. And honestly, more so, I want to talk about more so the reaction within the community and people's and how people are taking it within the community. But I'll give a brief rundown of what happened really quickly. Basically, some white girls got into a group chat, and I guess one reason or somehow or another they got on the topic of dating black men and expressed their sentiments. Their sentiments were not positive sentiments, and somehow, some way, this became public, and it even, I guess, low key went viral. I'm not sure why that is. I guess black people want to push that for some reason. Like, oh no, you gotta want a black king, Becky. I mean, you know how some black women are about that, because right now it seems like black women are leading the charge on this. There's some black men involved in it too, as far as like pushing back and checking the racist sentiments of the white girls in the group chat and whatnot. And then there's a segment of black men who are unbothered, are either just like whatever. But the black women out there though, they're just a segment of them, right? Who are just like, Rebecca, you gotta like yourself a black king. If you don't, that means you anti-black, and I'm gonna drag you and steal away your livelihood. And I'm gonna get you expelled from that college you attend too. Because I think that's something that they didn't get expelled or anything, but folks kind of put their information out there about the schools that they attend. I guess perhaps in an attempt to get them either expelled or suspended or some sort of a punishment via the school, maybe. And again, black women leading the charge on this, and I'm not quite sure why that is. I think really black women should, on one hand, kind of be happy, either because, hey, these white women aren't checking for black men, so it's more black men for them, but some black women don't really view it that way. Also, they could be happy because these white women, white girls, mm, are expressing their true sentiments about black men, and the sentiments aren't favorable. So this would be more proof about, hey, black men, you shouldn't really be, you know, chasing after these women and putting them on a pedestal because this is what they think of you. But I think some black women are just so, they drunk the Kool-Aid, the pro-black Kool-Aid so much sometimes. I think that it's just like, okay, this is an attack on blackness. And in some cases, it's an argument for that it is. But the thing is, if the shoe was on the other foot and black women were the subject of white men's Snapchat group chats and they were speaking about them unfavorably, I don't really see folks, especially black men, jumping up to defend black women in a situation like that. It would just be more so like, ha 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 ha. See, I told you they don't like you. Don't nobody want you. Right? Right? Just continuing trying to push that narrative. Like, oh, no one wants a black woman. They would be having so much joy and happiness and glee from it. You see they how folks are running with that story about that black woman who called into that dude show with the initials KS. You see how that went viral. You see how a lot of people have been weighing in on that topic. A lot of people both black men and black women, and even some non-black people weighing in on that topic, and that's even more embarrassing. I don't really think black women should be being portrayed like that in the mainstream, or really just period, but especially um, having an image like that being pushed out in the mainstream of being, um, being seen as undesirable and being labeled as that by, men within their group. But that's a whole situation in itself. That whole situation with KS and that lady who called in to him. But I just bring that up as just an example of how folks ain't gonna be jumping black men, and even some black women ain't gonna be jumping to black women's defense if they get caught up in something. Is this woman, that woman who got caught up with KS? Ain't nobody jumping to her defense like that. And even the few that do, they're getting checked by the dudes who are against it. But it's just another day in Blackistan, though, right? Folks love to see a black woman get dragged. I tell you, they do. I mean, that is like watching the lighting of the Christmas tree in Manhattan or something. That is just the best thing for some people to watch. And it's a sport, even. I mean, there's a men's division and a women's division for dragging black women. But in both situations, though, black women are off code as usual. Black women, when it comes to being on code with other black women, that's not happening. You know, and I think it's just because of the whole like mammy pick me mule mentality, and it's like they gotta have some validation, and they seek the validation from black men, whether they're problematic black men or non-problematic black men. And that's why that lady called into part of the reason why she probably called into KS's show. But enough about that situation. I'll jump back to this situation with the black men and the white women, the Snapchat and whatnot. Um, so black women's response to this is, I think, slightly or somewhat fueled, at least, by wanting to be pro-black and wanting to obtain some validation via the pro-black route, the pro-black path. And a lot of black women won't admit it, but that's sort of how some, not all, but a segment, feel like they're, valuable in some way, are worth something. At least you can get some form of like recognition and validation and acknowledgement. Yeah. But the thing is, these women think that this is ultimately going to end up, you know, causing black men to, wake up and be like, oh no, I gotta come back to the black queen. She needs me. I can never forsake my black queen. Chocolate queen. Dark chocolate goddess. Ooh. So they want that. And they are thinking that that's going to end up happening because of all of the caping that they're doing. But usually it doesn't happen. Usually what happens is these dudes end up getting dragged through the mud by the white women or the non-black women that they're with, and then they'll end up crawling back to black women, basically when they're down and out and don't probably have much to offer, and then black women will be like, you came back, you saw the light. Black women, she's right. Right? And it shouldn't. Is at that point it comes off as if, oh, well, you're just coming back to the only option that you got. Because like when you have multiple options and many options, then it's like, oh, you don't really notice. Oh, you're not really checking anymore. But when there's no other options, then it's like, okay, you know. But this just goes to show you that if you ain't know by now, now you know that the white women, they know what's up. They ain't dumb. They ain't stupid. They know exactly the position that they are in, and these white women are not going to be going against their white men for black men are big black stock. All right. Think of all the things that the system of white supremacy can offer them. Just think about all that it offers them. Now, think about all that big black stock offers them. Okay. If you're smart, if you're a smart white woman, why would you want to fight against that? And again, as quiet as it's kept, the system of white supremacy, degeneracy, allows her to better obtain quality, high quality, big black stock. You know, the dude could have a nice bank account, could be a celebrity, an athlete, etc. Right? And she just got to show up and be white. you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, check, check. It's like more icing on the cake for some of these dudes. And again, well, I guess not again, but to the black men out there, if it don't apply, let it fly. If it ain't about you, it ain't about you. But I'm talking about the ones that it's about. And as well, like, I think black women may be a bit like they may be wondering, like, why is this? Why aren't these black men acting like this? And, why isn't this a deterrent for black men? Like, hey, look at the way that they're talking about you. You know, Heck, I'm surprised Jeannie Ma didn't come in the chat and say dark meat on the side. White meat keeps her lean and mean, baby. But I guess Jeannie Ma, she was too busy for that. I think she was like recovering from some illness or something that she had and had to get surgery or something. So she may be busy right now. But for that question, it seems like these black men aren't being deterred by this in any way. The thing is, think about the history, in the United States at least, between black men and white women. Think about that. Now, there was a time when black men being caught with a white woman, he would be lynched. He would be lynched and possibly burnt while lynched, or, you know, have his private parts cut off and shoved in his mouth. Um, some towns have been bombed, at least one, because of a white woman saying that a black man, you know, I guess sexually assaulted her, or, something or another, some lie. And there's been a history of that. And there was a history of that for a long time in the United States. Now, if that was not a good enough deterrent to keep black men away from white women and just to stay with black women, if that was not a good enough deterrent, then what is? Even if these women are, certified gold diggers, ain't messing with, ain't messing with no broke, right? Even if she's been ran through, you know, right? What, like, I don't know. Maybe it just comes from a place of, low self-esteem. Black men having some form of self-esteem or feeling like, lighter is better, white is right. Because trust and believe, the majority of the time, the black men aren't really getting high quality white women, and it's usually based on like a hierarchy. that folks don't really want to talk about when it comes to black men. When it comes to black women in the hierarchy of, say, dating, folks love to throw that out there. Folks love to remind black women of where they rank in the hierarchy. The dating hierarchy, right? But folks in the community, not so much. Folks don't want to let black men know where they rank in that dating hierarchy, right? And again, as quiet as it's kept, a black woman could get a come up from dating interracially way faster than a black man can. So there's that. But so these white women know that they can be basic 9 to 5 white women and still get a high quality, high value black man, or at least a black man with some money, right? And they just have to come being white, and because of that, they right. But when it comes to high quality, high value white women, I don't really see them checking for black men like that. And that's just being honest. Like, I don't see Ivanka Trump out here checking for black men. I don't see Taylor Swift checking for black men. And some people may say Taylor Swift been ran through. Well, seemingly she is still high value enough that she doesn't have to go slumming with black men, at least not yet. Now, she may get to a point where she may have to. And when she does, she's going to make sure she gets a high quality black man. She's going to make sure if she's going to be slumming here, she's going to make sure she gets the best of the slums. Now, there are some non-black women who will date black men on the come up and date black men on the come down. For example, J-Lo dated P. Diddy on the come up. Ever since then, you have not really seen her being linked to any black man. You have even seen her at times saying all lives matter when folks are saying black lives matter. Right? The black community done help get J-Lo's career popping off, right? J-Lo got in and got in good. And on the come down, Kirstie Alley, right? Yeah, she used to be like the hot chick on Cheers, but when she got basically blew up like a big old butter biscuit, then she wants to come up with a black man. But I think she was able to find herself a decent white man, so she kind of fell back on that black man stuff. And Elizabeth Taylor on the come down too. When she was like old and in a wheelchair, she got herself a decent black man to push her around in that wheelchair, though. And I wonder if he was left in her will. Just wondering. And as quiet as it's kept, when it comes to interracial dating, and even just dating and just in general, I think black men do like to keep tabs on what black women are doing when it comes to interracially dating, and kind of like want to have a competition with black women, like who can interracially date better, who can win more at interracially dating, black men or black women, and it's just like, where did that come from? What's that about? That's part of the reason why these dudes are really quick to let black women know where they rank in the dating hierarchy, right? Where folks or where other people rank them in the dating hierarchy, right? Heck, where black men rank them in a dating hierarchy, and letting them know, oh no, you can't interracially date. Oh, that's only for exceptional black women. Oh, and I'm sure like a few black women, they can interracially date, but every black woman is not Beyonce or Kelly Rowland. Granted, those two aren't interracially dating, but those would be perhaps considered exceptional black women, though. But yeah, every black woman ain't Beyonce and Kelly Rowland, and these non-black men, they ain't checking for them like that. They ain't a group of non-black men waiting to date black women. I've had that posted in my comment section before, and a black man going having a conversation with black women about this and letting them know. He's like letting them know, you know, they like, oh, you know, non-black men ain't checking for you. They don't want you. Oh, you know, they'll come through and, you know, hit it and quit it, smash and dash, but that's it. You know, yeah, they quick to let you know about that too. But, you know, this has been a bit of a rant, but I just wanted to come through and address this situation right quick because it does kind of lead into other situations when it comes to interracially dating and how people view it in the black community when it comes to black women versus black men, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, I don't know, the black community seemingly wants black men to interracially date for some reason. I guess they feel like it's a form of like, hmm, like winning, I guess, you know, a form of like building the community. I don't know how that is. And like, oh, you know, it's a form of getting back at the man, right? The old school black dudes, that used to be what they used to say when they was, you know, interracially dating. Like, oh, you know, they getting back at white men by being with white women. That's that old school coonery, buffoonery dust on. Better ask Herschel how he used to get down. You know, ask Willie. But I'm going to bring this to a close. So thanks for watching. Please feel free to comment and let me know what you think in the comments section. Until the next video, adios and goodbye for now.